You have heard this 100 of times. We need to break the silos, right? But Allison Landers from UBS, the Chief Experience Officer, said something way smarter in one of the recent episodes we had. It's not about breaking them. It's about orchestrating across them. So today I want to unpack why this shift matters and how it changes everything about how you drive customer experience at scale.
We're horizontal, right? We work across channels, we work across products, we work across business divisions, client segments, however you might be organized in a firm. And I think it's about orchestration. And like I said, connecting the dots. I mean, pick on an experience that we just talked about, opening a product. Why would it be so different to open a credit card product than a checking account? I mean, you might have different questions, right? Or pieces of information that you need to collect from the same customer. But there should be some set of commonality until there's a reason things shouldn't be consistent. And so I think even just drawing attention to the fact that, hey, look, opening accounts or, doing this activity is wildly different over here than it is over there or in that channel versus this channel. And it's causing confusion for our clients, right? Or friction for our clients. So how do we get everybody that owns kind of pieces and parts of this experience around the table to understand how we show up today and figure out how to show up better in the future?
In our conversation, Allison talks about her experience building CX functions at Prudential, Wells Fargo, and now at UBS. And what she saw again and again is that silos aren't the enemy, they are a reality. And this is what she's actually trying to say. Like, we work across them already. Customer experience cuts across them, and the CX function typically exists because this problem is realized and there needs to be something to address this. But the problem isn't that people aren't working hard, it's that no one's coordinating the work. And the customer, they feel it.
CX jobs are hard, right? To change the way people think and behave, so that they can do their jobs better, it's hard. And if you don't have a seat at that table with those product leads, right, then you're not going to be able to drive the change that you need to drive in an organization.
So why does this matter? Because customers, they don't care about how you're organized. They care about whether the experience makes sense. Can they achieve what they want to achieve? Can they complete the task that they are trying to do? Can they open a bank account in UBS case or transfer money from one account to the next? Simple things. But if your product, communication, or service channels feel disconnected, you burn trust. You get a credit card and you go to the checking account and it looks like they are coming from two different companies, which is really weird, right? Because for the customer, it's supposed to be one experience. So who does this impact? Customer experience leaders trying to prove value. Product leaders getting penalized for things outside of their scope. But most of all, the customers. Ultimately, we want to deliver a great customer experience, but we are incentivized within our own silo to chase the KPIs that we are accountable for. So we don't necessarily care about what the others do. And that's why the customer experience feels so fragmented in many companies, because the accounts team and the credit card team are not necessarily talking to each other. The credit card team needs to be able to send cards and make sure that everyone has the right card at the right time, nothing expires. While the account team, they want to make money from the credit card. So they're at odds.
There are so many different teams that play. And for a customer experience team to be successful, it's a lot about trust and relationship building across a firm. In my current world, you've got to work with the financial advisor teams. You have to work with the traditional product owners. You have to work with the channel owners, the back office operations folks, the fraud teams, right? The service teams, and knit it all together. So that it does show up consistently to clients. But the CX teams are the quarterbacks generally, because again, from where we sit, we can see across the products, the channels.
So at Wells Fargo, she found that every business unit had a customer experience team, but there wasn't any coordination. Sounds familiar, right? In product teams, we have the engineers, we have the product manager, we have the designer. But if there's no central coordination across them, they are still acting in isolation. And that is true in many enterprise organizations today. Every business unit has their own customer experience team, so they're chasing their own KPIs, they're doing their own research, they're finding their own insights. all in line with the thing the silo is optimizing for. But if they don't talk to each other, well, the customer experience is still broken. Customer experience teams exist in every organization, but they didn't have coordination. And that shows up a broken experience for clients, as Allison says. And what most people miss is that organizations think journey management is about fixing a touch point or, managing a couple of journey maps. But the real work is actually in aligning people, systems with the right intentions. You could pick the right problems, but you could fix it in the wrong way. Okay? So here's how I think about it. Journey orchestration is about coordination, context, and accountability. Now, I know journey orchestration is also used in terms of like marketing automation and deciding like you're getting an email and I get an SMS and we're coordinating all of that. That's not what I'm talking about. This is about the cross-functional aspects of using the customer journey as a lens to view the world together. Okay? Journey orchestration is about coordination plus context plus accountability. Coordination, connecting the dots, not to own everything, but to align everyone. Okay, making sure that we are all seeing the journey for what it is and are breaking down the more complicated stages into the actual journeys that are going on in our customers' lives, step by step understanding what they go through, how we're showing up to them, where we're not showing up to them, the steps they take on their own where we are not there, and all the data that we gather from listening to them, from measuring their behavior, and from taking it all in the context of the business performance. Okay, so understanding how to connect the dots using the journey, that's coordination. But the context matters because I've seen so many marketing teams collecting data and presenting beautiful reports on here's where the market's going, here's what's going on. And then CX teams doing the same, but then on the customer level. And the sales team is doing the same thing, but then on the deal level. And everyone is talking about the customer in different ways, in different languages, in different levels of abstraction, using different data. It's not connected. So using the journey to normalize this and having our insights, our metrics, and the way that we are thinking about the opportunities that we should tackle next is about contextualizing. And what better tool to do that using the customer journey rather than having assumptions or a long, lengthy document or a 20-page report. No, let's actually use the journey to see things the same way so we can act with confidence. And that goes into accountability, the last part. Give some ownership, even if it's shared, but together we're accountable for the journey and everyone in our silo has still the same KPIs and has things to optimize for, but we already agree on we are responsible for the end-to-end journey. The value stream, how do we create value for the customer step by step? So inputs, outputs are ultimately creating value for the customer. And together we are accountable for that. We have different roles to play from the different teams that we represent. But if we are accountable together, accepting the shared context, we can coordinate. And that is what journey orchestration is about. Allison confirms the CX team is the quarterback because from where we sit, we can see across the product and across the channels. You need to drive the accountability. Naming a journey owner drives the sense of ownership you need. But make no mistake, you can't just say like every product owner is now a journey owner and just expect magic to happen, right? That's the other thing. It's just not, again, renaming things. It's putting the structure in place to actually do this at scale. So the takeaway of it all is you don't have to break the silos, but you have to be intentional about coordinating across them, orchestrating actions, having that shared context, and making sure there is accountability with the right partners, data, and the way of working. So here's my question for you. What's one experience in your company that's broken because no one owns the in-between? And who needs to be able to fix that? And I think this is the right way to think about this. Is like, where are the gaps that we should actually rally together? Allison says, journeys are a rallying cry. They help people to sit down and think about the customer, to think like the customer. That's where the shifts begins. So watch the full episode with Allison Landers from UBS. It's packed with practical strategies, not only from UBS, but from Wells Fargo and Prudential. This is a hot one, and she's making it so easy to follow how to execute a customer-centric strategy using the journey to coordinate across teams and to create that shared context and accountability.